And we're live. Hopefully you can hear me. Nothing like a little last minute, everything stopped working the way it was supposed to. So I hope you're having an amazing Saturday so far. Thank you so much for your patience as we get this fired up. I just want to make sure you can hear me. If you can hear me, comment in the livecast page down below. You'll see the video there, and then down below you'll see links for get the assessment, which we're going to be going through in a minute. The wheel of perspective. Down below that, you'll see some commenting that are integrated. Would love for you to comment below if you can hear me, make sure everything's working. Just as I was setting up, I always do this 5-minute prep in advance. My little black magic device that actually lets me stream to you decided to just shut off. And I was like, there's no switch on it. So what do? I'm just trying to replug it in, do all this stuff. Finally, I got to go back. So with that being said, we're going to start in about 30 seconds. Let me just make sure everything's working. And we'll get rocking and rolling here on this beautiful Saturday in Fort Myers, Florida. All right, Linda's there. Jan. All right, we got peeps in the house. Thanks so much for your patience. As I said, it's always fun when you're doing your own show, rocking this out. So let me go ahead and shut that down. And we'll get that set up. And what we're going to do too today is we're going to stream live on Facebook simultaneously. So I'm going to turn that on right now. We got it all set up and ready to go. And voila. Good stuff. So here we are live in the studio in the sky in Fort Myers, Florida, ready to rock this day. We got business training a little later today. Right now we're going to do a full 60 minutes. It might be a little longer than that of health, wealth, and happiness training. What my dream is for you as we do this work today is to set up the very best 2018. So when you enter January 1, you've got things in check, you're dialed in, you're ready to absolutely crush. And maybe if you have too much partying the night before, you even have that as part of your visualization. Yeah, I'm gonna wake up, I got all my stuff ready, and I might have a little bit of a hangover, but that's cool. If that's your scene, whatever works for you. I'll probably be partying too on New Year's Eve, rocking it out. So that being said, today here's how it's gonna work. What we're gonna do is we're gonna start by diving deep on keeping perspective. Then we're going to get into training that helps keep these things in perspective. And then part of my dream for us is always to give you exact tactics. So the moment this video is done, this live cast is over, you have exactly what you need to do to just go in and do. Does that all make sense? You know, my dream for you very clearly is that we're conscious of what we're trying to go after in the realms of health, wealth, and happiness. We raise the level of ambition for what's possible. We raise that level of awareness to really go after it and really live into all these beautiful things that we're really thinking about. You know, whether it's for some of you, I know in the mastery community, we have a lot of people who are really geared towards doing great things purposefully, passionately, and profitably. So if you are in the live cast, make sure you comment below because I've got a bunch of stuff, bunch of goodies right here that we're going to be doing giveaways as we start to work. So the very first thing that I want you to do is go ahead, if you're on the livecast page, comment below and let me know what your dream or goal, maybe your number one dream or number one goal is for 2018. So here's the visualization for you. By the very end of 2018, December 31st, 2018, think ahead and think about this very powerful question. I think Dan Sullivan, the strategic coach for this, what is it that has to have happened by December 31st, 2018 to feel happy with your progress personally and or professionally? So I'll say that again as you think that out. Comment below. That automatically enrolls you for the giveaway. So the idea is, what is it by December 31st, 2018, so that's about a year and 2 weeks from now, that you will have done to feel happy with your progress, either personally or professionally? Share that with me. I'll be touching base back as we go through the training today to make sure that you're commenting, because those comments, that's what I'm going to go over here and look and see what you got. It's going to be everything towards rocking it out, and I hope you have an amazing time in this experience today. So very first thing, from the tactical part of the perspective keeping piece, is to make sure that you've got your life assessment. And I've got mine right here. Here it is, my life assessment. And this is what it looks like, just in case you're not sure what it is. Because what we're going to do, as we do every month as part of the beautiful mastery community, is keep perspective with what we're trying to go after. And this is a great check-in for all of us, including me. I'm going to be completely open and honest with you where I'm sitting, what happened to me in the last 4 weeks as I traveled so much and kind of fell off the rails. You'll see this show up here. But it's real. I mean, this is a real journey for all of us. And I'm leading the charge today with our health, wealth, and happiness training. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for letting me help you, care for you, serve you, love on you, even challenge you, but also champion you on. You know, there's a lot of things that we can all do, but what are the important things to do for the long term to feel that sensation that we've been living into our best self, right? So that being said, let's go ahead and start our perspective keeping with the life assessment. If you don't have it, there's a link down below. You can click it, it'll get it to you. It's a PDF. If you have the PDF and you don't want to like print it or anything, just write it down or write the numbers down as I'm going over it. Whatever works for you. Here's how it's going to start. I'm going to go through each of these things. Today, I want to shout out to Brandon Laughinghouse. I think that's how you say his last name. And what he told me to do, and this was back when I was in Asheville a couple weeks ago, he said, Charlie, when you do your 0 to 10 rating, try not rating yourself a 7. Like 7 is not an option because it forces you to think. Because an 8 or above, I'm doing well there. 6 or below, it's like, oh, I got to work there. So today only, no 7s are allowed in this rating. You cool with that? Boy, I was looking that over and I was like, ooh, that could be tricky. Here we go with the very first rating. And this is now. And I want you to think about, just get yourself into a clear space. If you have anything on, interruptions, other things going on, try to shut them down, get them out of, because I really want this to be an emotional experience for you. And the way we do that best is to really let this integrate. So here we go. 0, not at all. I don't agree with the statement at all. 10, totally owning it. Here's the statement for now, the very first part of the life assessment. First, I am where I thought I'd be at this point in my life. Overall, I'm living into the best version of myself for me, those I love and care about, and the world. So what shows up for you there as you think that through? And it can't be a 7, remember? Thanks, Brandon, for the inspiration here. So for me, that is a 6. It would have been a 7. Here's the biggest takeaway for me, and I hope this helps you because I want to make sure I'm illustrating for you, is that I have to be really clear about trimming any distraction out of my life. And we'll talk a lot about this in this segment of training. We'll also talk a lot about this as we get into our business mastery work. There's still some frayed things going on that I need to kind of push away or get delegated or delete. One of the themes in high performance we teach, part of productivity, the highest performers know what to do, what to delegate, and what to delete. You notice the word defer wasn't in there. They're either doing it, they're delegating, or deleting it. When we bring in the word defer, a little side note for you, then it's like, I'll handle that later, We're going to handle it now. And what we really want to be clear about is that delete piece. So I have a list of things I have to go through to learn what to delete based on my life lesson in 2017. Does that make sense? I hope this is helping you. Some good stuff, isn't it? All right, next up, my best self. Again, 0 to 10, we cannot rate a 7. Thanks, Brandon. Here it is. Overall, I feel healthy, happy, and energized. My energy levels are consistent throughout the day and even sustain into the evenings until I start to wind down for bed. 0 to 10 cannot be a 7. How you doing there? And for me, I'm going to give myself an 8. Because I've been doing, even through all the travel that I went through and everything in November, since October, November, sleep was top priority for me. Like I know if I don't get that, everything else falls apart. That's a keystone habit and really important one for all of us, but for me especially. And I know that, so it's real powerful. So whatever it is for you, and I don't want you to think, oh my gosh, I'm afraid to share this. Just be real with it. And in the context of what we're doing here, it doesn't matter. If you rated yourself a 1, we'll work through things to rate that up. So that's the next question for you. If it fell below an 8, or it was a 6 or below, because we're not rating 7s today, if it was a 6 or below for you, think of one thing you could do to up-level that, either in the next 24 hours, in the next week, at least by the new year. And think about, is that a problem for me over and over? And if it is, what is it for the new year I need to adjust for this? You follow? So I hope this helps. Really was powerful for me as I've been going through since December 1st, these exercises that I'm going to take you through in just a little bit towards these ends. So whatever it is for you, totally cool, can't be a 7. Next up, my relationships. I work diligently to create, build, and maintain great relationships with those around me. I feel I'm a good role model for my loved ones, those close to me, and the world. I consistently listen well, show compassion for myself and others, and communicate my thoughts and feelings. So you see some themes in here. Communication, consistency, great relationships, or as I like to say, exceptional relationships. So how are you doing in these areas? What's showing up for you? Remember, 0, relationships, what are those? 10, owning it. Can't be a 7, 8 or above or 6 or below. What's showing up for you there? I'm going to say that I have to give myself a 6 here because I know I can do a lot better. A shout out to AJ for this one of the beautiful members of our mastery community, great friend of mine. He said, Charlie, one of the things I teach my entrepreneurs in the real estate world is to go through and call everybody in their phone. Not at once and not in one day if you have a bunch of people in there, but maybe 5 a day and just check in with them. But also along the lines of that delete, if it's somebody that, you know what, they kind of fell off or they're not part of my world anymore, it's just like I don't want to maintain communication with them, whatever that is, be real with it and then delete them. But that's the context for all this, and I just want to make sure you have that kind of framed for you. Really powerful. So my question for you is this. Are you going to start calling everybody on your phone? When AJ told me that earlier, it was earlier this week, I'm going to go through, I was like, oh, January 1, I'm going to start calling everybody. And it isn't like calling them to, hey, I got something for you. It's just to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to check in on you. How you doing as you go into 2018? That's where my conversation is going to end. I just want to check in. Now, as you probably have guessed, and if you know me, which most of you do, you know I'm about relationships. So for me, that's a great conversation to have. So I hope this is helping just a little bit. This stuff, keep perspective with it, take some action on it, watch out world, which brings up another powerful theme, something we also talk about in high performance. Subtle shifts over the long term equal exponential change. It's another way of stating the compound effect. And that's a huge distinction. It was a huge one for me. So the subtle shift of calling maybe 2-3 people a day from your cell phone, contact list, whatever that would be, you do that for what, a month? That's 2-3 people times 30 days, 60 to 90 people. If you have that many in your phone, that's a lot of contact, a lot of relationship building, those kind of things. Really, really powerful, isn't it? All right, are we ready for number 4? Here we go. Stress, overwhelm, and clarity. And this, boy, as we're hitting the holidays, a lot of people are, as I'm coaching them last week, more than the last week, I've coached 18 people, and they've really emoted that some of them are okay with it, like 2 or 3 of them. The rest of them, higher levels of stress, higher levels of overwhelm, trying to keep everything in check as they're shutting down businesses to get ready for a holiday break. They're taking care of all the responsibility they have for the holidays. So here's the statement to rate yourself on right now. I have great stress management practices in my life. When I do get stressed, I know exactly what to do to reduce or remove it from my life. I typically do not feel overwhelmed or distracted because I have clarity of who I am and what I should be doing every day. We're going to have a lot of that discussion, not only in this session today, but also in our business mastery training today too. And I really want to make sure this particular item, when I was building this assessment, was the key words people were using. Stress and overwhelm. And a lot of times, if they got more clear, stress and overwhelm was reduced or removed. So my challenge for you to think through this theme, what are your stress management practices? For example, I was feeling a lot of stress this morning, looking over everything that I wanted to make sure I covered for us today. And I said, you know what? Don't need to be stressed. So it was a mindset shift. But I also put in 2 practices. Went down to the hot tub. Blessed here in Florida, it's like 72 degrees Fahrenheit already. We're rocking it out here. Went down the hot tub, chilled, just sat in the sun for 15 minutes. Release meditation. So it was a hot tub practice and then release meditation. And that got my vibrancy back to be able to be here with you, to help you, to serve you, to champion you on. You follow? My dream for you is that you know what those practices are. And even in the chaos of life, you can just pop down and do what that is. A couple things that have come up for others that might help you. One is to listen to soothing music, especially if you've got some great headphones, like the Bose QC25s or the Bose QC35s. These are my favorite headphones. They're like pillows on your ears. And I listen to Frank Sinatra, Lana Del Rey, just that soothing music that takes me away. Pretty cool, huh? I hope you have that. If you don't, my challenge for you is to journal. And if you don't journal, just write down, hey, here's some things that I've done historically that have removed stress from my life and made me feel better, even in the context of being in chaotic, stressful situations. So what's your rating there? Do you think about stress, overwhelm, and clarity? I think I'm doing pretty well, so I'm going to give myself an 8 there. On that one, as you can see, I was using those tactics this morning to be here bright and cheery for you right now. Rocking it. Next up is my career and mission. This is a very critical conversation this time of year. The work I do in the world is meaningful to me. I believe I'm consistent about living in alignment with what is the best use of me, my passions, and my talents. So what is that for you? Remember, it can't be a 7. So to me, yeah, that's a 10. Because one of the beauties of the work that I'm doing as a high performance coach and the work that I'm doing with a lot of people in our beautiful mastermind and our mastery community is I'm really on that conversation every day. And I've set up practices, some of which we'll review here, to help me stay centered or course correct if I fall off center in that regard. But just because I'm a 10 and I've been working at this for like 8 years to get there, whatever it is for you, let's be open and honest with it. What's showing up for you? Is it time for a job change? Is it time to go after that entrepreneurial dream? In the mastery community, we're serving a lot of entrepreneurs, some of them just coming out of corporate, trying to go after that dream. And in my trainings, we talk a lot about knowing what our break even is and then connecting recurring revenue, meaning subscription revenue, to the break even, about the break even amount that covers our basic expenses so that we get a sensation of freedom. The membership sites is one way, subscription, service contracts if you're a service-based business, these kinds of things. And if that's all Greek to you and right over your head, no worries. There's tons of training on that. And I'll make sure in the replay of this in our community to link to it for you so you get that. Cool? So I want you to be real with that. If that fell below an 8, which means it was a 6 or lower, because we can't rate 7, then you need to think about, all right, go back to the question we framed at the beginning of our time together today. What is it for me that I really need to own going into 2018 so I feel happy with my progress December 31st, 2018 in the work front, the professional front. So you've got a year and a couple weeks to build a vision, create a strategy, get a plan together, and take action. And if you need help with that, I'm here for you. So it's a big part of that journey together. And if you want to have that conversation, pop a comment below and we'll start that. I just want to make sure you're taken care of as we think this through for you. Cool? And I get that because I've been down that road many times and I know a lot of people in the world right now are really trying to go after their dreams. Next up is hobbies and passions. I know and understand the importance of having hobbies to help me continually connect with my creative and self-expressive side. I'm consistent about nurturing my hobbies and passions. So what's that rating for you? Do you have any hobbies? Do you have passions that you're going after on let me kind of frame this, a consistent basis? Going into the new year, if you believe in setting New Year's resolutions, what is that New Year's resolution around this topic, hobbies and passions? I have to give myself a 6 here. And I don't know that it would have been a 7, but here's the idea. I've got guitar sitting over here that I haven't been able to play in the last 6 weeks, because I've been so busy traveling and doing all these other things. And I think that's kind of an excuse. I just haven't prioritized it. One of the things we teach in high performance is this, that schedule plus focus plus discipline equals freedom. So I ask myself and I ask you, are you scheduling time on a consistent basis, even if it's just 10 minutes, to get out, maybe it's not guitars for you, but to get out the guitar and strum and go after it? If not, what is the next step for you? What's some hobbies? And maybe you don't have any hobbies. I always challenge people to think back in their life, maybe when they were younger, things they loved. A couple people that I know used to love to play video games. You know, the Atari 2600 back in my day. And today they're bringing that back online. Not getting overboard with it, like getting fully distracted, sitting for hours doing it, but bringing it online for half an hour. Playing a game like Rocket League on the PS4, Xbox, or PC. It's an amazing game, so much fun for the family. Great. A lot of the Wii games like Mario Kart, another great game. Both of those games don't involve guns. They involve strategy and driving a car around and those kind of things. So a lot of parents are really conscious about that conversation. So there's just some ideas for you. I just want to make sure I'm illustrating. So whatever it is for you, be real with it. And if it's below an 8, think about what it is that you need to either bring online, try, or schedule towards to really get clear on that. Cool? You got it? If you feel like commenting, you know what the story is. I'm going to be giving away some things a little bit. Comment below and share. What are some ideas for hobbies and passions? Would love to hear. Cool? Next up, My Life's Ambitions. And I don't know if you've ever read the book. It's one of the things I want to give away today. It's this one. It's The 5 Regrets of the Dying by Bronnie Ware. And what it talks about, and what she does a tremendous job, is going over these 5 regrets that she kind of developed out as themes through her 25 years as a hospice nurse. And these regrets, like one of the regrets that I remember is the idea that I didn't give myself, I wish I had let myself be happier. A lot of people, until they're on their dying part of their life, that determined illness and so forth, they don't realize, oh my gosh, happiness was a choice? What? Why didn't I let myself be happier? The other one, I wish I hadn't stayed in touch with my friends. I wish I hadn't worked so hard. So these are some of the things. But the statement we're working towards to rate today, right now, with where you're at this very moment is this. If I died tomorrow, I wouldn't have any regrets. I've lived a life where I've paid attention to and taken action on my life's ambitions. At least once a year, I reevaluate my life's ambitions and I schedule time for them. So how are you doing there? This is the crucial time of the year, the next 2 weeks, to really own this for you, to really go after this ambition. And if you haven't been dreaming big enough, comment below. I'm the dream whisperer, I think some people have called me. I help people dream bigger. So let's really figure what that is for you. So many people are so caught up in the details of life, trying to just, make ends meet, live into their responsibilities and everything. Sometimes they need a good shake-up and to be like, all right, if tomorrow was it, do I have any regrets? Right? And I just want to make sure that we're owning this for you and you get this. So for me, on that one, I've got a lot of ambition, but I'm going to give myself an 8 because I've been really working towards that in a diligent way. I know what I need to do to level up. And with that being said, that ends the life assessment perspective keeping part of our training today. So I'd love for you to share, if you're in the live cast, down below, what's 1, 2, or 3 things you're committed to change or try or take action with in these areas. Just real quick, go ahead and comment below. I'll be looking at those in a little bit. And from those comments, we hand out some books, some other goodies too maybe. Cool? Now let's go ahead and get into the wheel of perspective. And this is what that wheel looks like. If you're on the livecast page, you can see it there. And it is available for download. You just go ahead and click the PDF and get it. If not, it's no big deal because I'll be walking you through it. This is pretty simple. These are 10 needle movers that if we keep perspective with, going back to our subtle shifts over the long term, equal exponential results, these needle movers are everything towards feeling vibrant, connected, purposeful, even passionate in life. Cool? So here's the first one. I want you to rate 0 to 10. And again, today's challenge, thanks to Brandon, no 7s are allowed. Oh my goodness, here we go, is sleep. So in the last, and we're going to scope this out for the last year. So I want you to think all the way back to January 1, 2017. And I want you to think about, all right, on January 1 through today, how have I done as an average 0, not good at all. 10, crushing it for sleep. Meaning you're getting 7 to 8 to 9 hours, whatever it is for you, where you feel that you've gotten the right amount of rest, time-wise, and that it's been quality sleep. Some people, they can get that rest, but they don't have quality sleep. Some of the people that I've worked with and work with have sleep apnea and so forth. They've done sleep tests, those kind of things. So how have you been doing there? And I gotta say, even in the midst of all the chaos in the last few weeks, I'm gonna give myself a 10 because that's non-negotiable for me. I have to get my rest. Now, don't get me wrong, I will let myself stay up certain nights, knowing tomorrow I can sleep in a little bit, but it's all about keeping that dialed in, right? Very, very powerful. So whatever it is for you, be real with it. If it's below an 8, which means it's a 6, because we can't rate 7, then you really got to think about what do I need to shift as I go into maybe next year, but also tomorrow, tonight. Better wind down, what is that for you? Next up is hydration. And I got my 2 insulated water bottles. Bring the joy, if you can see it. So, have I been consciously drinking water, aiming for 3 liters to 6 liters a day, which is about a gallon of water. And that may be, you may be like, I don't even drink hardly any water. But that's what we know we need to hydrate this body that's 70% water anyway. And it depends on your lifestyle, where you're at. But I'm sucking these down like crazy. I'm gonna have a drink right now. So if you got your water, have one. But what is it for the year, 0 to 10 on hydration? What you got there? Now for me, there's been pockets of time where I don't know what happens. I forget to drink water and I don't have my water bottles with me. So I'm gonna give myself a 9 because I think there's some improvement there. And usually, just so you have reference, that's when I'm traveling. Number 3 in the wheel of perspective is eating nutrient rich. So let's talk about that for a minute. Nutrient rich to me is eating from the rainbow, and it's not Skittles. It's eating green kale, yellow peppers, red peppers, butternut squash, these kind of things. Staying away from the beige foods like bread, donuts, croissants, those kind of things. So how have you been doing this year so far in eating overall? Eating 80% nutrient rich, as I like to rate in this wheel of perspective. Now I'm gonna give myself we can't give ourselves a 7, so it's gonna have to be a 6 because I really fell off the rails in November when we were doing a lot of traveling. Tried to keep everything in check, but I just kept feeling that creep of old habits come in. But as soon as I got back, it was right after Thanksgiving, I was like full focus and I'm back on track and owning it. So, and I know what that is for me. So if you're not sure what that can be for you, what nutrient rich even means, comment below, let me know if you'd like just a couple menu ideas. Because I have a very clear idea what it is for me to eat and what I need to create in that realm to really own that conversation. Does that make sense? Cool. Because the highest performers have what? They have a list documented. Here's the very best version of me from eating on a daily basis, a weekly basis, in certain situations, how I'm gonna handle them. They got that documented. Do you have that documented? Challenge for you. So whatever that is for you, be real with it. And think about if it's below an 8, 6 or below, what it is to level that up. Next up, we have exercise. Have I been revving my heart? Yes, getting sweaty, 2 to 4 times a week, usually for 30 minutes or more. So that can be, for me, that's a run, usually a 2-mile or 3-mile run, about 2 to 3 times a week. And then I hit the weights. And on the days that I don't run, I'm either doing some of the exercises we do from high performance, swinging the kettlebell, going for a brisk walk. These are some of the things that I do. So for the year, how have you been doing with exercise? And I'm gonna give myself, that's another 6, because just setting up new business, which is what it's essentially has been, setting up our beautiful mastery community on top of other responsibilities that I'm reducing. There's been some a little too much pressure there, and it's decreased the amount of exercise that I put in play. Completely my fault, but I'm owning it, and I know it needs to change as I go into 2018. I'm already on it because I like to start early. Cool? So if that's a 6 or below for you, think about what is it we need to shift? Do we need to schedule these things in our, because remember, if it's not in the schedule, it's just a dream. So I want to see, if you were to show me your calendar, I'd be like, let me see where you got your exercises scheduled and are you living into them? That's the other side. So with that being said, next up is breaks. Have I been taking breaks every 90 minutes, 60 to 90 minutes throughout the day? What is that for you? Taking breaks every 60 to 90 minutes. One of the things we teach in high performance is the power of taking breaks and setting intention in that break time. So for every 50 minutes of work, I have a little app on the Mac that's called Recess. You can get it in the App Store. That really helps. Boom, time to relax. Comes up, blanks the screen. I have to press done in order to get out of it. And I'm working on making sure I'm living into that. And you can set the timer for how long those breaks are. But here's what we know. If we take those breaks, we get more productivity out of ourselves and feel typically more emotional connection to the work we do. Pretty powerful. So what you been doing there? I'm going to say a 6 here too, because man, I'll tell you what, those things come up on Recess and I'm like, I can't take the break right now. I got to finish this. But that's a shift I got to make for 2018. So I got this on my list, and I hope you have your list as we're going through all this. Very powerful stuff. Excellent. Next up is happiness. Have I been learning, creating, and sharing while being around people who generally uplift me? So there's the trifecta of happiness there, especially for entrepreneurs and thought leaders. Learning something new, creating from what you've learned, and sharing it. So have you been putting that in play consistently? Are you generally around people who uplift you? Think back through the whole year. And I'm going to give myself an 8 there because I feel like I've got that pretty well dialed in. If you ever go to Brendon Burchard's events, you get bumped on that, something fierce, being around people who uplift you. He has that way with people, which I love. Thanks and shout out to Brendon. It was so great spending time with him in the last 3 weeks. We were hanging out in Portland at his office, doing some fun things with him, doing mastermind work. Had a little bit of fun down at this Thelonious Wines with him, and Denise, his wife. It was a lot of fun. So happiness, what is that for you? 8 to 10, 1 to 6. There's no 7s today. If it's below an 8, you know what the story is. What can I do to bump happiness? Now I've given you a couple ideas. Obviously there's many more than that, but just think about bringing more happiness and joy into your life. Cool? I got you too. If you don't know what to do there, just ask because we're going to cover it. I'll make sure to help you out. Next up, finances. Have I been committed to auto savings and living within my means? So that is for me a 9. I'm pretty dialed. I think I'm very dialed in there actually. I know my expenses. I know my income. I've got everything kind of in check. I live debt free. But if that's not the case for you, that's totally fine. We're honoring wherever you're at. That's why we're wearing the Honor the Struggle shirt today. Especially going in the holidays. A lot of people put themselves in debt during this time to really help and give gifts and these kind of things. So whatever that is for you, the practice here is this. Be honest with where you're at. Think about what it takes as you go into 2018 to maybe course correct from lessons learned from 2017, right? Next up, presence. Have I been present, meaning fully in the moment, with myself, with those I love, care for, serve, and the world? Think about this for the entire year. Can't be a 7. 8 to 10 means you're crushing it. Below 6 or below, got work to do. What is it for you? I'm going to give myself an 8 here. There's always room to grow, but I feel like, especially in the last 2 years, that number has gone from a 5, 6 to a 7, 8, almost 9 most of the time. And I catch myself when I'm not in the moment. I get too far in my head, course correcting. Next up is purpose. Purpose, have I been living toward my life purpose? Now that makes the assumption that you have your purpose defined. Do you have your purpose defined? Is it clear? And maybe it's a purpose per role in life. As a dad, for me, I want to be this guy. I want to do these things so that, for these reasons. As a general overview, I have my purpose well defined. I've shared it many times. But the idea is that I'm helping people improve their lives from where they're at to where they want to be, realizing many people don't know where they want to be. So we got to co-create. People support what they create and really working towards those ends. That's why I'm doing this with you right here, right now, living into my purpose. So do not feel bad if you don't have a purpose. If you kind of know what it means to live purposefully, cool. So that's what we're asking here. Have you been feeling the idea of living purposefully throughout 2017? 0, not at all. 10, I'm owning it. Every day I'm on purpose. Cool? Whatever it is for you. Again, rate it up. Think about how to rate it up if it's a low number. And then finally, daily plan. And this is huge, so I'm going to put a 9+ here for purpose. And daily plan, I'm going to put an 8 here for me. Because here's what we know. The highest performers are incredibly clear about their priorities every day, what absolutely must be done today, non-negotiable. They're incredibly clear about their life's ambitions and moving some of those things forward. And they're incredibly clear about the people they need to reach out to and they're waiting on to do those things. So they have ultimate clarity. And I can tell you what I just told you reduces all kinds of stress, as we talked about up here. Stress, overwhelm, and clarity. So whatever your numbers are, here's what I've done today. And I see where my work's at, and I've already been on this, so I'm working it. Just so you know, as a common practice for me, and this usually starts, well, it started right after Thanksgiving for me. It's like, I gotta get into, and we're gonna talk about this next. I've got to get into what it is I need to take care of now to bring 2017 to a great close, and what I need to set up based on lessons learned to really go after an even better 2018. Cool? So I hope that helped. So this ends the perspective keeping part of our training. Now what we're gonna do is dive into the actual training. These are tactics, not tactics necessarily, that's over here. These are ideas, distinctions, illustrations to help rank these numbers up. You ready for that? So would love for you to comment below. Go ahead and comment below with any thoughts, challenges you've given yourself, shares on what your numbers are, maybe your dream, your aspiration for 2018, as we talked about at the very beginning of our time together today. So go ahead and comment below. I'm going to give you a little time for that because I want to give some of these books out. You can send them to you. Cool? All right. If you've commented below, awesome for you. I'm going to check that just as we enter the tactics piece and see what we have. So here we go into the training part of our time together today to really set up, to go after the last couple weeks here we have in December, going to 2018, January 1, hitting the ground running. The 3 critical areas that we have to dial in. And this was the conversation in my head as I came right out of Thanksgiving. The very first one, and you're going to see a theme here, is health. And you're going to see that these 3 critical areas may follow these areas. So in the area of health, I want you to ask this question. You know what? Before we ask this question, I want to challenge you. And this is a challenge put on me by our master coach, a lot of the CHPCs, Certified High Performance Coaches. We get this asked a lot of us from Master Coach Brendan. And that is, what is it going to take for you to be in the best health in 2018? To make 2018 your very best year ever. Cool? Now, what I want to do on that idea is give you those 3 power questions that you can ask every day, every week, every month, every year. And it really helps keep that conversation alive. Now, these 3 questions, let me frame them for you. The first one comes from a place of gratitude. The second comes from a place of accountability. And the third, and this is the part, and if there's one thing you can take away from today, this is the part that high performers get that others don't. And that's setting great intention, great strategy, great plan, and taking action on it. So the third question really goes deep on the action you need to take. You follow? So what are these questions? You want to know? I want to tell you. Let's do it. Here we go. First question. And you can ask this, like I said, every day, every week, every month, every quarter, every year. Totally up to you. It's right here. What did I get right? So if you're asking it at the end of a day, you would say, what did I get right today? And then list it out. My challenge is for you to write it down, to journal it. And if you look back over your journal, you're going to see all these incremental growths through these 3 questions. Cool? So what did I get right today? At the end of every week, that's what I ask. As a matter of fact, after today's training tonight, I got to go through and do my journaling for the week. What did I get right this week? The very first Saturday of every year, I sit down and ask, what did I get right this year? And that's for last year. So what did I get right in 2017? That's the gratitude piece. And I want you to spend a lot of time there and celebrate what you got right. You up for it? I really hope you're getting this, because my dream for you, these subtle shifts are everything towards the opener for what can be for you to live that life that maybe you've dreamed of, to get rid of some of that stress and overwhelm, bring more clarity, more purpose, more income, these kind of things. We'll have that conversation, the income conversation, in our business mastery training later, but this is the setup for it. Cool? So that's the first question, comes from that place of gratitude. The second, what did I get wrong? Get wrong. And the accountability part is why. So first of all, it's saying, all right, along the lines of this towards health, what did I get wrong last week, yesterday, today, last month, last quarter, and why? Like, where did I fall off? So as I told you, and I want to be totally open and honest, transparent with you, because I think this is huge for growth for us, and it helps me be accountable too, is that when I went on my little traveling extravaganza, where we were up in Portland and we were down in Half Moon Bay and then we were at Santa Clara and then I came back and I had family, somewhere along the lines, I just fell off the rails, keeping this checked for exercise and eating nutrient rich. Still hydrating well, still sleeping well, but those two things just, and I was up in my weight, but I also wasn't feeling good either. So I was like, what did I get wrong? And I knew exactly what it was. Portion control, quality of food, meaning the nutrient rich part, these things just kind of flew away. You follow? So I know what I got to do to move forward. And I started that literally, when Thanksgiving weekend ended, I was on it that Monday. Got my greens, got my kale shakes, got just staying away from refined sugars. Like gelato is a weakness for me. Staying away from that, staying away from these things. You follow? I just want to make sure these questions land for you and you get the illustrations that are so powerful for this. Cool? All right. What's going to change? This is the action question. What's going to change? And the two questions are how and when. I gave you a little hint. The highest performers are incredibly consistent about asking these two words, by when, whenever they set an intention. So the intention for me was to dial in my eating. By when? I could have said, I'll just kind of slide by for the rest of November. But I was like, by when? It is tomorrow. I hit the ground running. I got to serve. This is crushing my energy. This is really not how I want to feel or be. I got to own it. So I was really clear about that. And I have been taking a major amount of action towards those ends. You follow? Pretty cool. So let's go over those questions one more time. These are crucial and critical. And just so you know, these questions came to me on one of my Think Weeks back in 2012. I'm like, well, if I could ask myself 3 power questions that would really set the stage for how I want to show up moving forward, but also be grateful and accountable and have the action part, what would those questions be? And I just kept working it. And it was at the Aria pool in Las Vegas, by the way. Love that pool. Don't know what it is. The energy there is like so soothing and loving. It's just cool. So these questions, the grateful piece, what did I get right? Now it could be last week, today, last month, whatever that is, list it out, celebrate. Next, what did I get wrong and why? What's going to change, how and when? You follow? Now we're applying that to health. So as you think about the best health of the year for you for 2018, I want you to answer those questions 1 and 2 for 2017. So what did you get right in line of health in 2017? What did you get wrong and why? A lot of things that come up for people are things like, oh yeah, exercise. I know I need to do it. I'm not doing it. Why am I not doing it? Not scheduling the time for it. Some people will say too busy, but the reality is they're just not prioritizing it. And then third, and this is the action list for you for 2018, what's going to change, how and when? If you're up for it and you want to make that commitment, share it below in the comments. Would love to see it. And that, of course, registers you for some of the books we're giving away. So that's the piece here that I want to make sure you get. Now let's take that whole set of questioning and hit the wealth piece. So in the line of wealth, for most that I coach, wealth is more of a financial thing, but for others it's wealth in terms of great relationships. It's a wealth in a holistic sense of keeping things in harmony for themselves, for others, those they care for, love, serve, the world, and just making sure that they're doing purposeful things and they have good income streams at play. You follow? So I'd love to know if you're not making the amount of money that you wanted to make this year, or you want to go further with that, if you made enough, but you're like, I can 10x that, or 2x that, or 3x that. What did you get right related to wealth in 2017? Write those things down, celebrate those. Gratitude. Second, what did you get wrong in 2017? And why? Third, and this is the key. Oh, I get chills just telling you this. What is going to change 2018? How and when? What is it for you? Got any ideas? If you do, share them below. I'd love to hear. If you don't, if you're like, you kidding right now with the holidays? I don't have time to even think about this. Put that down below too, because I'll challenge you personally, one-on-one, to really own this conversation. Because if you don't have the time to go through and do this work, we got to shift some things for you. Because I bet you're living with a high or a low number here in stress and overwhelm. Cool? I want to make sure we're taking care of you. You know I'm here to help you, to care for you, to love on you, to champion you on. And yes, part of the high performance coach piece of me, to challenge you. And I really want to make sure we're doing whatever we can together to help you succeed in 2018. You got it? So excited for you? All right. Next up, the last piece. This is very crucial. Happiness. So I want you to ask these questions in the line of happiness. What were some of the things that I did in 2017 that brought me the most happiness? What were those for you? Anything come up? Being with my girls is one of mine. My babies, Paige and Joe, rocking it out, having fun, even if we're just chilling together reading. Playing Rocket League is one of our favorite games on the PS4. Or going for a walk. Josie and I, we play a lot of tennis. We go for runs together. That kind of stuff. That was the most happiness. Being with my lovely lady, we were in Asheville. We had a ton of fun. Just exploring new. Big thing we teach in high performance, controlling for novelty. Big part of that conversation. What did I get wrong and why towards happiness? Where did you fall off? Where did you let the world come down on you, crush your happiness? And how long did that last? What's a better way to handle that? And in the last part, what's going to change so you bring more happiness in? How and when? You follow? Oh, I'm so excited for you. If you're like a bah humbug grump right now, comment below. Let's see if we can change that for you. Would love to help you. Just make sure we're taking care of you. Sometimes we get there. I get there. We all get there. Oh, man. And I don't know what it is. Sometimes it's like, I'm doing fine, and all of a sudden, we talked a lot about that in Psychology Mastery at our session this week. If you're in the Mastery community, you know you can watch the replays for that. Make sure you do as gold, the info identity loop, huge part to changing happiness. So watch that training. I'll make sure in the replay to link to that so you can get into that training and hit that, because that was a massive breakthrough for a lot of people. They reported out. They love the info identity loop. Don't have time to go over it now, but you can watch it in the replay, and we'll rock it out there. So now what I want to do in the last part of our training is apply these amplifiers to this stuff. You ready for this? So what are amplifiers? The amplifiers are the things that we can do in these realms to really own the conversation of specific tactical things that really move the needle towards heightening health, wealth, and happiness. So it's a 3-part framework, and you've probably heard me review it before. It comes from our high performance work. This was reviewed, I think, in December 2015 in training from Brendan. It's called the Cleanup, Setup, Level Up work. So these are the amplifiers, the 3. The first, clean up. So this is what I was asking myself right after Thanksgiving break as I'm prepping for 2018. What do I have to clean up to bring more health, wealth, and happiness into my life? What does that mean exactly? What it means is, what are the things that are derailing me that I need to clean up either within me or in my environment to set up, which will hit the second amplifier, to absolutely rock the next year. And we'll put level up down there too. Cool? So what is it I got to clean up? So here's what I did where I live. Went from the front, it's a condo, so I went from the front of it to the back of it. And I did a sweep like this. And I said, I don't know if you've ever read the book, The Art of Tidying Up, but I looked at the things as I was walking by and I'm like, is this bringing me happiness or joy? Or am I using it? If I wasn't, it goes out the door to Salvation Army, or I give it to somebody, donate it to somebody who I know could actually use it. So what did it actually mean for me when I thought about health? I went through all the food and said, is this helping me have more energy, or is it keeping me equal or derailing me from energy? So I had to get rid of a couple things, but I also brought in some things. So for example, I brought in some vegetable chips. I brought in some of the powders that I need for my smoothie. I brought in some of these bars that are really good quality to really sustain energy in a pinch when I don't have time to prep or get ready. Luckily, I have an amazing lady who creates all kinds of goodies. So I'm not too worried about that, but it's really powerful that way. So really clear about what I have to clean up and set up to really own that next part of my life journey. So I challenge you, as you go through where you live, or your backpack, or whatever it is for you, do a sweep. Just go through and say, what do I need to clean up here to really support? And I always challenge myself to be simpler than I am now. Many of you know in 2006, I sold 90% of my things based on inspiration from Tim Ferriss's book, The 4-Hour Workweek. Sold 90% of my things. And I think that was the one thing in my life that attributed to the most happiness. Because we remove stress and overwhelm and create a lot of clarity when we don't have a lot of clutter. That's just a part of the way the mind works. But we're constantly told through marketing that we need all this stuff, right? So I really had to clean up, set up, level up. And level up, what do I have to do to level myself up, to own this conversation going into 2018? What is that for you? I can tell you exactly what it is for me. Keep things simple, fully focus on my purpose, full focus on new ways of approaching my week. You want a little hint? I'll show you. Here is a new map for my week. I don't know if you can see that. I'll try to bring it up here. But all it says is the mornings, I got to own the mornings. Let me pop ahead over here to the tactics. Own the morning. So the morning doesn't own me. What does that mean? What do I have to do to level up to own the morning? It means from when I get up, I got to go exercise first. Remember down here, exercise with low. I got to prime myself with a great meal. And then I got to get into my work that's purposeful. Meaning that I don't do any coaching calls or appointments until after noon or so. And then we're really owning that part of that journey. You follow? So what is that for you? Would love to hear. So if you saw this at all, this little note card, Wednesdays are my entire day, as we like to call it in the high performance world, my SWAT day. SWAT, like SWAT team, to just crush. Calls, everything minimized until either late in the day or not at all. It'll go to Thursday or stay on Tuesday or Friday, whatever that is. But I need that middle week day to just crush my stuff. We're going to talk a lot about this in Business Mastery and our training about an hour. And I cannot wait to reveal that for you, what I'm working on and the exact way I'm approaching this, based on what I learned being with Brendan for a full day, November 9th, up in Portland. He gave us very clear distinctions, but also practices that he has in play to do a $10 million a year funnel online. And it's completely doable. I just have got to have the SWAT days to own it. So these three things on these questions towards these ends, if you put that in play, how would you feel? I'd love to know. If you made that part of your deal, these things, what would that be for you? Just 3 by 3. That's what I call this, by the way. It's the 3 by 3. 3 areas, 3 questions each. So let's put that right here. 3 by 3. And I even challenge you to ask yourself these things every week. If you want an extra credit, every day. How's that? Pretty cool? I'm so happy for you. All right, let's see here. We got about 10 minutes left. So right now, let me go over here and I'm going to pop into our page and see who left comments. Ooh, Kimberly, Nina, Jennifer. Oh, I love the shield for negativity. Nathan, Linda, Nathan? Oh, this is good. We got the comments. Robert? All right, here's the way I want to do this. I'm going to pick Nina. I want to give you a book, but I want it to be the book, because I know you're a writer, I want it to be the book that really owns it for you for 2018. And I've got a bunch of books here, and I'll go over them with you. I can't move the camera to show you, but I've got Tools for Titans, High Performance Habits. I'm assuming you probably have that one. I've got Tribe of Mentors. That's by Tim Ferriss. Find Your Why. 5 Regrets of the Dying. Memory Rescue by Daniel Amen. Getting Things Done by David Allen. Leaders Eat Last by Simon Sinek. And I got Blue Ocean Shift, which is the new book about blue ocean strategy. So I don't want to determine what book you get. I want you to comment below and tell me what book you want. And if it's not on that list, that's totally fine. I want to give it to you because you, I know, are working it, going after your dream. And I want to make it real for you, but I want you to have the book that can be the pinnacle shift for you to go into 2018 with. Does that sound fair? I hope it does, because I want to make sure I'm serving you, take care of you. So go ahead, comment below and say, you know, Char, this is the book I think that would move the needle for me the most. If it was one of the ones that I read, great. If it wasn't, let me know. Cool? So let me see who else was in here commenting away. She just totally, I 10x my income in 2017, but it wasn't sustainable. Love this. Thank you so much for sharing so openly. So we got Nina. Janny, I do see your comments, and I want to do the same for you. So I've given you the book list. We've got Tools for Titans, Tribe of Mentors, which are awesome. These two Tim Ferriss books. We've got Find Your Why. Let me just see if I can bring some of these online. We've got all these books. Blue Ocean Shift, 5 Regrets of the Dying, Leaders Eat Last. We have Getting Things Done, which is one of my favorite books. And of course, we have this lovely beast with Brendan, High Performance Habits. Jenny, let me know what book I can get you to serve you as you go into 2018, whether it's one of those or whatever it is. And if you don't know what it is, let me know. We'll have that conversation. Comment below and say, with everything we've gone over here, and that we'll go over in our business mastery training, here's the part that I need. And you may not know what the book is. That's totally cool. I have very good ideas of books that can move the needles for people. Like for every entrepreneur that starts, I try to have them read the book by Michael Gerber, E-Myth Revisited. Why Most Small Businesses Fail and What to Do About It. And it's a really great book because it goes over some basic principles of technician, manager, entrepreneur, these kind of things. So with all that being said, let's take a drink, have some hydration. And by a drink, I don't mean a wine. I'd like to cheers you, but you know, we'll just do this for now. Let's get into the last part of our time. And if you hang in for the next 10 minutes or so, I'm gonna run a little long. We'll end around 12:15 Eastern. Thanks again for letting me sort out my technical issues we started. If you hang around to the end, we'll make sure to hand out a couple more books. And yeah, it's gonna follow that flow. I wanna get you the book you need to really crush in 2018. So start thinking about it as we get into these tactics. Sound good? All right, let's hit the tactics in the next 5-10 minutes. We'll wrap up and I'll prep for our business mastery training, which starts at 1 p.m. Eastern. And I can't wait to go over it for you. I got a list of goodies somewhere over here. Oh, it's over there. That we're gonna crush for that. Okay, the tactics, the resources. How am I specifically keeping perspective on what I need to do? This goes to what Nina commented on just moments ago about creating sustainable income. This is the practices I have in play to make sure it's sustainable. So the very first thing is needle movers. You have to determine the things you need to be doing, and I will even challenge you to think about the questions you need to be asking, and I will challenge you to do what I've done. You don't have to be this extravagant, but to put them in checklists. Now, in the replay of this module, I'm gonna put these in as a PDF. I'll put a PDF example of these for you, but here's what I have. And I don't know if you can read these, but it's the situational needle movers. And what this is a list, a checklist of questions and things I have to ask myself situationally throughout every day. So I'll just go over the first 3 with you. Am I being intentional right now? Second one, am I living into or being distracted from my purpose right now? Am I living into my daily and weekly needle movers? Now you probably know we went from situational to daily needle movers. These different thing up at the top, it says daily. These are the things I need to be doing every day to live into my best self. Having this list, this checklist, and this is in Evernote. I use the checklist function in Evernote, and then I print them, is everything towards keeping me on track to have the SWAT team time, SWAT team days as we call them. So let me go over the first few. The mission contribution perspective. Every day I need to rethink about my vision, strategize, and plan. I need to review my needle movers, make sure that I keep that top of mind, review my how I serve board, and review my one-page productivity sheet, which, by the way, will be coming up. It's in our next training session. We'll be talking about that and the business mastery. From just like this list over here of those needle movers, these are on here. And you can see them down here. It's the me to be the best in the world. Sleep. Did I get my best, the way that I like to work? 10 p.m. to 5:30 a.m. 5:30, 6 a.m., whatever that would be. Did I get that sleep? So this is literally a checklist I can use at the end of a day and say, last night, did I get the sleep? Did I hydrate? And it literally says here, 1 to 2 insulated water bottles with me at all time, drinking continuously. You follow? Next, eating, nutrient-rich eating, morning, lunch, evening. I also put on here coconut oil, apple cider vinegar, supplements, vitamin, and minerals. And I have specific things for each of those. So for coconut oil, spoonful after a meal, and even oil pulling. I don't know if you know the benefits of oil pulling, but that's a piece that's in here. Next up is breaks, living into the 5x50 formula. And what that is, just so you have context for it, is 5 50-minute time blocks a day, full focus, one thing. You follow? Think about that for a minute. 5 50-minute time blocks a day, one thing in each time block. So if I'm going through, and we'll be talking about this in Business Mastery today, if I'm creating emails for my funnels, and if you're not sure what funnels are, join the Business Mastery, and you'll see that in play. It is really clear what I got to do in that 50-minute time block. You step into those with that level of intention, watch out world. My job, just as a bonus for me in my mind, is to have those 5 50-minute time blocks done by noon. Now keep in mind, I'm getting up at 5:30, starting my day at 6. So I can get that done in that time frame and still have an hour in there to exercise. Imagine having the day own like that by noon and then just taking the rest of the day off. Kudos to us. Last one is the weekly needle movers. These are the things I need to do every week to keep perspective. First and foremost, my purpose statement. Rank how well did I live into each part of my purpose statement. The wheel of perspective into 3 questions. The wheel of perspective is this. The 3 questions are these. So asking those every week, having a checklist. If you're a spreadsheet person, get rid of the checklists, put them in a spreadsheet. So my challenge for you, do you have it written out? What you need to be doing from your best version of yourself, situationally? Do you have a separate page somewhere that says every day, here's the best version of me? From what I'm doing in the mornings, what I'm doing in the afternoon, how I'm closing my day out. Every week, maybe Saturday morning, what am I doing to really own this conversation? Do you have it documented? That's a tactic. That's your job as soon as we're done today, is to create. And even if you're doing it now, just get in and create it in Word or on your phone. I don't have my phone because it's actually generating the live cast for Facebook. But the idea is in the notes, if I'm coming up with stuff and I don't have my stuff with me, even just my phone, I'm hitting voice memo and putting it in there. Cool? I hope this is gold for crushing the new year, and that's what I want for you. I hope you do too. How are we doing? Is this awesome? Rocking it. Next up, let's get that marker. Own the morning. What are you doing in the morning to set up for your day? When Brendan told me that he takes 20 minutes to sit peacefully with tea, or just in peace, and visualize every part of his day for 20 minutes, I'm like, I don't even do it for 1. That's one of the big things that I'm going to be adding to my morning ritual. But my morning ritual is documented in the Daily Needle Movers. And I'll put some of that up for you in the replay of this so that you have it. So I'd love to challenge you. Think about, list 3 things you need to do to own your morning, starting tomorrow morning. put them in play. If you want, share some of these things in the comments so other people can benefit from them. I'll be sharing mine in the replay down below as an attachment for you so that you have those. And then finally, one of the things I did is Nick's visualization. Now, I don't know if you know Nick Pigeon. She's in our Brendan Mastermind, and she wrote the book that I gave out to a lot of you. And Now Is Your Chance, that 30-day guide to live your happiest life through positive psychology. She got published on Hay House, like Brendan. And her visualization is a walkthrough that you listen to. It's called the Millionaire Mindset, I think the Millionaire Meditation. And I want to say it's about 5 minutes long. I'll assure to include a link to it in the replay. But I really want you to think about what's something you could listen to every morning to open your mind and help you visualize what's possible on this beautiful planet of ours. I'll make sure that you get that meditation, that visualization. And if you like her accent, I always tell her, because she's from Newcastle, England, I just love to listen to your accent, but I really love what she says in it. And it's helped me big time towards getting out of that. We call that in the entrepreneurial world, the entrepreneurial seizure, where you're just freaked out because you have all these responsibilities and maybe you're not making enough and you got to get somewhere, these kind of things. But that visualization, the Millionaire Mindset visualization she does, has been very helpful for me and hundreds of others. So I'll make sure to link to it for you, and you can try that. Just give it a try tomorrow morning and see if it affects your day any differently. Sound good? All right. Next up, 3 apps. So the 3 apps that I use, the first is Calendar. Because here's what we know, and that's just the calendar app. And that could be Google Calendar or iCal or whatever it is on the Apple. We know this. If it's not in the schedule, it's just a dream. We talked about that earlier. So you got your fitness, your exercise scheduled? Do you have your self-care time scheduled? Do you have, and I am putting that in play for January 1, 2018, your 20 minutes of visualization scheduled every morning? Yeah, that's what we're talking about. That's the first app. The second app that I'm using that's working out interestingly is Fitbod. It's an interesting app. I think it's on Android, but I know it's on iPhone. And what it does is it shows you the different muscle groups and it defines various random exercises for you to do in a weight room. Like we have a fitness center where I live, and it just says, hey, what do you want to work on today? And you click it and it just makes a kind of random exercise set for you, so it's not the same. We know that from science. Randomizing exercise is more effective for our bodies, and so it does that for us. Fitbod is the name of it, Fitbod. And the final one, you're going to love these because these are already built into your phone, is Voice Memo and Camera. And here's the scoop. Voice Memo is the best app for me to capture ideas, is to capture content when I'm wherever I'm at. If I'm on a walk and you're open, like so many people I know get their ideas in the shower. I get mine on my walks. So if I'm on a walk and I'm going after it, that's where it comes. But I got to capture that. Voice Memo, I got it set right on the front of my phone so I can pop it and go. The Camera app. One of the things I did to set up and level up for 2018 is I'm selling all of my cameras that I used to have, and I got my iPhone 10 and the camera I'm looking at right now, which is a Panasonic GH5. And we're going to talk about this in our monthly roundtable today. And these 2 cameras are it. The iPhone with a little, what do they call that, a stabilizer? I'm looking for one right now, is how I'm going to capture my vlogs for charlie2.com. And all my trainings going through this beautiful Panasonic GH5. It's a little bit pricey, but it does great with pumping this through this. You can't see it, but there's a cable right here. So a live cast using Wirecast. I could get into all those details later, but I wanted to simplify my life. And Camera is it. Now, when I get that stuff captured, if I want to do a summary or a transcription of it, I'm using Temi, T-E-M-I, which is a 10-cent a minute automated way to get the transcriptions of that content. So if you go to charlie2.com, C-H-A-R-L-Y 2.com, you'll see on that how there's a video, there's a summary, and then there's a transcription. And all we have to think about as thought leaders, and we'll talk a lot about this in Business Mastery today, is how we get it out of here and into the world as fast as possible. And for me, it's simplifying that process. I used to have 2 vlogging cameras, 2 other cameras, and a fifth camera. And I'm like, this has got to go, because 2018, my year is focus. It's my year of focus. And in order to be focused, I got to be simple. And simple is it. And the iPhone X's camera is freaking outstanding. So good stuff. So that's the teachable part today. I hope, my dream for you is you get these. If you can think of a better way to do these, do it. But this, I have to see it. So in my I have a production cave right behind the camera, and they actually are hung on the wall, so I see it. And if I'm out of town, I can copy these notes right into a new notepad in Evernote, and for the day, I can put the day's date and just tick, 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 tick to do that. And guess what I wasn't doing in November? You heard it. You heard it from me. I wasn't doing it. So that all being said, it's been an absolute pleasure being with you. I hope this has served you. Got a couple more books to give away. Let's pop over here and see what we have. Oh yeah, Nathan, Robert, Janny, Kimberly, Jennifer, Linda. You know what? Everybody who's commented, you just send me the note. What book is it that you can really live into and love? That will really help you the most for 2018. And I'm going to send it to you. I'll get it to you up front on Kindle. I'll get it to you shipped, whatever it is. I want you to succeed for 2018. So whoever's in the Livecast page, where it's Success Academy is at the top, you comment below and tell me what book it is you want. And we'll talk about how to get it to you, whatever it is. My gift, bonus gift for you being here and participating today. And I will see you guys in about 40 minutes as we do our business mastery training. If you have the links, they're either in Facebook and our mastermind or our mastery community part, or they are in email for you there too. So I look forward to seeing you in about 40 minutes. You know I'm here to help you live purposefully, passionately, positively, productively, and profitably. And we'll be talking about that piece in our business mastery. Take care, everybody. See ya.